This is Chris with Boss, and I'll just be doing an overview of your help desk. You'll be able to send questions at any time, so if you want to start sending questions now, you can, and I will answer them the last 15 minutes and as I go through the presentation. So basically, to get started, I'm going to show my screen like many of you are used to, and here we go. And we should be able to see my screen about now, everyone. And unfortunately, I already have mine sorted by technician, and this is one of the tricks I already go ahead and teach right up front. So a lot of you already know this trick, some of you may not. And to show you that, we're going to do a hide group by box. And what we actually will do to do a sort by technician is we're going to right click, do a show group by box, and drag technician up. That way I can just see everyone's tickets underneath one full queue. And if I wanted to see just my tickets, I could click on the filter and filter down to my tickets. Now what we're going to start with today is actually in the configuration. Some of you may or may not see this in your screens, but I wanted you to understand what's happening when you see certain things and when certain things happen within the product. So in here was where we will enable certain things like associated assets. And what that does is allow the assets to be associated to particular users, and you can put those into the tickets. Some of you hide ticket title. So you'll notice in some of my tickets I have titles, and some of you may not used to be seeing that. Print and child tickets. So if this is not checked and you can't print a child ticket, this would be why. Displaying email. This is a checkbox in all your tickets. If you uncheck this, this will not email the users. Bill status will just hide the bill status for you. Allow technicians to print tickets. Some of you may not even have rights to print tickets. So if this is an issue for you, then you need to address this with your administrator of our product. And these final three are all about the parent-child relationship. So I have close all child tickets when closing a parent ticket. Some of you may restrict closing the parent ticket when child tickets are open. And some of you also will close parent tickets when all child tickets are closed. So this is just a setting that your administrators will have. Now we're going to go up here to the toolbar. And the first thing on the toolbar is to go to tickets. So if we were down in any of these tabs, like FAQ management, I could go straight back up to this without having to click on Ticket Explorer or anything like that. So go to tickets is the first thing on your toolbar. If I want to hide my Explorer bar, I simply click on that to create more space. Creating a new ticket, simply clicking here. This is how we also use templates. So if you need to use a current template that's in the system, you will just choose that from here. And like you're used to, you'll choose a user and something new that some of you may or may not have yet as it's coming out. This will actually show the associated users' PCs. So if they have more than one asset, it will show here when you check the top box. However, something new that has been added, if I uncheck this, and OA Blinken here has a new PC, I can now put that PC here, create this ticket, and it will automatically associate that PC to A Blinken. Next time I come in, he will have that box checked. So if I click create, of course we got a bunch of errors. So we'll create the tickets and send them on their way. Now, as most of you know, an email will be sent to the user and to the technician. That is, if we have that configured in the configuration of email notifications. Some of you do not actually send emails to the users, and some of you don't want to get all the emails as technicians. So if you're not receiving particular emails, you may want to ask your administrator about these checks. If you want to see if an email went through, it can show you email to user, email to technician. In this case, the email to the technician did not go through because the technician does not have a valid email address. Edit ticket. So if I highlight on any ticket, I can simply click on the edit ticket and go right to the ticket. Some of you do not have this option because of the rights set up by your administrator. Enterprise admins will be able to delete tickets. Helpdesk admins will be able to delete tickets. However, technicians are not allowed to delete tickets. Ticket templates. This is where your administrators will set up what templates, top 10 calls, top 20 calls, such as a reset of password. They can name the template. In this instance, we probably would not want to choose a user. However, we want to fill out as much as possible in this scenario. So if you can fill out group, category, subcategory, some of you use teams, some of you don't. You do not have to assign it to a technician. It can be left as unassigned. You do not need to choose an asset, as that is based off of who the user is, and that will highlight up inside the ticket itself. You can set the severity and extended status and bill status defaults. We can hide it from the user, or we can uncheck this and show it to the user. So when the user goes to their web portal, they then will have the option to use this template. Title and description, once again, you want to get as far in depth on this as possible so you don't have to type as much in when you create the ticket. And once again, we're on the resolution. That will be logged in the user notes of the create and close of the ticket. And we also have parent and childs. So to create a child, basically all I do is highlight on new hire, and then I would click new child template. And that's how we get these child templates right here. And each one can be in a different group, category, subcategory, can go to different teams. It can go to different technicians, severities. All of this can be all different, and each one is created all at once. So how that works is we do new ticket, I choose new hire, and we have a process now. So we have a new hire. We're going to create an AD exchange entry. Somebody's going to set up their computer. Somebody puts them in Office or gives them Office and sets up their Outlook for email. You may set up their phone system, and they may or may not get a printer. In this instance, maybe this user didn't get a printer. We'll simply close that template. From here, all I would need to do is choose who the user is in the tickets, and if I wanted to copy the content from the parent ticket, that's what this will do. After that's created, a lot of you will say, well, how do I find those parent-child relationships? First, you must be on all tickets. If I am in assigned or new, the parent-child relationship does not show. You must be in all tickets. Also, if I put a sort on, the parent-child relationship may not show under the right person. This is due to the fact that this is assigned to me. However, all these different ones are assigned to different people. So underneath them, they may not see this ticket unless they're in assigned or new. This is just a view. To change this view, you will just click on this on your toolbar, and then that will clean that up for you. So technicians who don't have full rights to see all tickets will want to look at it with this view instead of on the master-child view. This is how you refresh. It'll refresh everything in the screen. A simpler way to do it, if you were in all tickets, I could just simply click on assigned and that will refresh the screen and I can go back to all tickets instead of having to come to the toolbar. If we wanted to edit a group, you simply highlight the group you want to edit and click on that on the toolbar. The same with the category. We can go to the category and the subcategory this way also. Something new for the teams. You name your team. You give it a description. You also give it an email address. The reason for the email address now is if we have several teams in here and it gets assigned to teams, let's say in this instance, this was not assigned to anyone, the team needs to get a notification. So now what will happen is the team will get notification of any new ticket that is assigned to that team. Ticket Auto Preview will change the look of the screen for you. This can be a little choppy. I don't look at it that way, but some people do. So if it's really how you want to see it. So that's right up here on the toolbar, how you want to look at this, if you want to see description up underneath or not. You'll notice my details and user information has been hidden. You can do that by simply clicking on the auto hide. If you don't want to see these, you can simply exit out and close them. To retrieve them, you go to View and choose Ticket Details and choose User Information, and that will give you your information back. Some tricks. A lot of you redo your categories and subcategories and may need to change those on the fly. So what I've done is I've sorted by group, category, subcategory. If the BlackBerry field or subcategory went away and we were changing that all to iPhone, then I simply could right-click, change group, change category, and then reassign all these tickets on the fly into the iPhone subcategory. These filters are done by what you have on. So right now I could reassign all these tickets to Chris Sequel. If you have a technician leave and you have a technician sort on, I can reassign all of Miguel's testing tickets to Maha or to Larry on the fly. Teams change. We can also do that. So this is pretty powerful. A lot of you can do these certain things. A lot of you cannot. Changing statuses. Gotcha. My Surrey's also in here watching, and most of you know Surrey, but he was letting me know that if I change this on the fly, this will change closed tickets also if you want that to happen. And if that does happen, it will update your report, so your reports may be skewed. Now back to what we were doing. If I needed to close a group of tickets on the fly, I can do that simply by going here. I can simply change severities on the fly, extended statuses on the fly. So all this is done by these sorts right here, and then go into the right click on any of the sorts that you have on. Now a lot of you will notice this up here. Some of you use this search feature over here. It's still there. It's going to stay there. However, the new search feature that Vishu has put in is more dynamic. You can put wildcards in. We can put just ticket ID in. This one will find any and everything. Keywords, multiple words, and you have the find and you have filters on it. So in the future release, what you're going to want to do is eventually you're going to phase out of here and start doing your searches out of here. And it will filter down. So if I was just looking for Team 1 and I said find, it's going to highlight it up now where this search one does not. And you'll notice it's highlighting every number 1, everything team. So it's a little more dynamic than the past search. Another thing you can do that a lot of people don't realize is you can drag this down and get it out of your way. So if you have a lot of groups and categories and subcategories, it's an easier way to see this. If you work out of teams, then you can simply come down to your team, click on your tickets, if you have any, and see those tickets. In this case, I'm only seeing mine because that's who I am. Now, once again, most of our customers do not use the team feature, so this will be hidden from you. It's not there. Now, down here in the routing rules, this is where you can pre-assign stuff. So if you chose a group, a category, you chose a group, category, or subcategory, and you want to assign that to a particular technician, you can do that. A lot of our school systems use the OU to a technician because you may have a technician that services just one school or certain 5 schools, and your OU structure within Active Directory is done by school. You could also do it by departments for all our other customers that you may have it broke down by location or department. So you also can pre-assign tickets to a particular technician or, in the future, a team. Workflow is what you do on the back end. So if I want to look at VIP here, a lot of our government customers use this. And what you can do is select all your mayors, judges, city officials. School systems may choose all the principals or the board of commissioners or the board of the school system. You may want to have notification. So you would simply choose those users here, and then you could email a team, you could email a technician, assign it to a particular technician. We can email selective managers. The other designation for this is really making sure nothing falls through the cracks. You can choose business hours, regular hours. Date created means that nobody touched the ticket. So we're going to escalate the ticket. Most of you use critical for P1. So what we would say is after 45 minutes, if nobody has touched this ticket, well, in this instance, we're going to email a team and we're going to email a group of technicians. In this case, it would be me. You can do more than one technician. You can do a whole group of technicians. And we could also email the ticket team if it was assigned to a team. We can also escalate off extended statuses. So if somebody put manager approval needed, then it could email a manager. Something new that they have added into 3.8 that we're currently testing out is a closed feature for the extended status. What this is going to be used for is in your Boss mobile apps. If you choose the extended status of closed, it will then close the ticket in your mobile apps. Just letting you know that a technician can be watched. So if you want to see anytime a technician closes a ticket, we want to email a group of technicians or managers, that can also be done. So if you're wondering why your tickets are being sent to particular people, they may have a rule on your administrators. Now, to get those lead times where I was talking about 1 to 45 minutes, you'll notice I have debug and 24 and 4. You get to name these. So if I wanted to have a 1 hour escalation, I would simply come in here, choose 1 hour, and choose 2 hours. Do not choose 1 hour, because 1 hour to 1 hour doesn't make sense, and the system cannot figure it out, and that will break your workflow. So always have a start and end that are not the same. Once you save that, then you'll have that lead time right here. And you can set as many lead times up as you want. You can set up as many workflows as you want. This is all done in the workflow editor. And once again, some of you may or may not see this, but I'm going through as to what's happening. So this is where your escalations are happening. Another thing I like to point out about this is you have email escalation checked here. It will actually give you the rule name right here in your email. So what happens is, from the workflow, whatever is here will be in the header of the email. So you will actually know what workflow took place and why it was sent to you. View ticket log. I show this, but this is everything. So this is anything and everything that was done today on this system. So anytime a ticket is created or anything is done to the ticket, it will be logged here. Once again, some of you will not see this, but really if you want to notice this and you want to see it, come into the ticket itself, go to the ticket flow, and this is also where it logs all information for that ticket. Message board. Most of you know that this will scroll the message across the users and the administrators' web portal. And you do that by displaying in User Helpdesk. What you don't know, some of you, is now they've put in an expiration. So on March 31st of this year at 12 o'clock a.m., this message is going to take itself off the board. If I choose active or uncheck active, this no longer is an active message. You'll notice I have some HTML coding in here. That's how I can make mine scroll black, red, yellow, green, whatever. If you want to change the font size, the way it looks, you can also put more coding in there. So whatever you want to be scrolled across the top can be shown. Now, a lot of you have asked for, and I need to remember to tell Ganesh this, to actually be able to adjust the speed of the scroll. With Surrey in here now, he'll be able to do that. FAQ management. Now I'm just going to click on one of these real quick and open it up. This has also been changed in 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, all those different versions with little bug fixes in them. You still can enable this for the users. You cannot put pictures in here. We have nowhere to store the pictures. We don't want to store them on your server, because then you're going to end up giving me anywhere from 300 to 500 gig of hard drive space just to store pictures for your FAQs. If you need to put a picture in here, You do it as an attachment, as a Word document, an Excel document, anything you need to do, you can add as an attachment. The users can view this. Something that they have added into this. In the older versions, the keyword, you'll notice they only have one in here, would have been email. Some of you used to do, and this would not work. Now, you can put as many keywords in here as you want, separate them by comma, and any of these keywords will now pull in the user portal and also in the admin portal. What that gets you is, if you come into new ticket, and let's go as a user, user goes new ticket, they hit the group, the category, the subcategory of the FAQ, and any of the keywords, it will then populate that FAQ or FAQs in front of them. It may save you on some emails or some calls or some tickets. That's what that's designed for. You'll also notice over here in the left-hand corner, this was designed for one of our current customers. Some of you may like this now, is to get IP address. This is for the users. They simply click it, and it'll put the IP address of their system into that box. For them then to get it into the ticket, they would do a copy and a paste. They can give you your IP address of their machine at any instance now. And somebody asked, what release am I currently using? This is release 3.8. Shortcuts for you. Everywhere I go for trainings, even if you've been using the product for a long time and I show this, a lot of people don't know that this happens. If I right-click on the subcategory of BlackBerry and do new ticket, it's going to pre-populate all the way down to the subcategory, your severity, your extended status, your bill status. All I need to now do is choose who the user is and go to entering in my title and my description. Resolution, once again, if I don't type anything in there, I cannot create and close the ticket. If I want that to highlight up, put something in that box, now I can create and close the ticket. Some of you wonder what custom fields are. These are set up by your administrator in that configuration tab right here. So these are actually stored procedures that we have written, and we're going to pull different locations and OUs and department names out of Active Directory. We can give drop-down lists, and you can also enter in your timesheet, of course, from here. The way all those defaults get set up, your administrators will come in here. They'll edit the group or category or subcategory. Now, some of you may or may not see all tickets. This is where this is set up. So right now, I have this set up to where David, Miguel Testing, and ProT Admin, well, they can view all tickets. But Chris SQL, Chris Test, and Ray New, well, they cannot view all tickets. They only see tickets assigned to them. Severities are added here, so you may not have all the severities that are out there, but are only set up for this group, category, and subcategory. This is also where those defaults are set up. The same for extended statuses. Now, one thing a lot of our customers forget is if I add a severity or add extended statuses, and you do not see them in that group, category, subcategory, then when you added it, you did not do an edit and come and add them in here. It would look like this. You simply just come in here, do an edit, and filter that down. Now, a lot of our larger customers don't like that because then they may have a private category or group or different defaults set up below. Vishu and them are actually now working on something for in the future, not anytime soon, but they are working on something in the future to be able to do that all in the back end. Custom fields. Now, we just discussed custom fields, but you may have those tied to particular subcategories. And what I mean by that is maybe we want to look at printers here. We'll go to custom fields, and you'll notice I have printer location, and I can make it a mandatory field for the users and administrators. So now if I go to new ticket, the additional custom fields will show those custom fields. So you can get more information from your users and all your technicians to get more information for particular subcategories or incidents. Now I'm going to flip over to the web portal also. And you'll see my scroll coming across. That's what we discussed in the message board. You'll notice it's a little bit smaller in this version. They made some changes, so they've cleaned up the look here. So as an administrator, what's new? You may see reports. This is not all of these reports. This is a select few reports that are also in the product right now on the application side. However, Ganesh is having to link up individual reports one by one to go into the web. As this happens, you'll see more and more grow. Right now, he's got about 3 pages. We're not going to add all reports from the application into this tab. So if you have particular reports that you want to see in the web that are our default reports, let us know and we'll look at adding those into this section. If you have custom reports and you want to add them in here, then you'll need to talk to support and we'll get with development on getting individual reports added at a later date. What that gets you though is if I click on all tickets, you'll notice I have a filter. So I might want to see last month. I can say go, and then it's going to pull all the tickets from last month. This has a little simpler filtering system in it. For you, it's a little more generic on the reporting side. You can put some certain filters in here. You can also export the views out and print from here. I just wanted to show you guys that here. This has to be turned on in the database. So if you're on a 3.7 or a 3.8 version, then it's not turned on if you're not seeing this tab. The same with this tab. This is a new one called Ticket Scheduling. So I can now create a scheduled ticket of something you do daily, something you do weekly, monthly, maybe renewals of software or support renewals for PCs. So you might want to do something that you do every 3 months or 4 months on the first day of the month or on the first Monday of each month. You can schedule those date and times. And for those of our customers that are having the facilities department or the maintenance department or repair departments, I know that they have scheduled things that they do a lot of, and they can schedule tickets to go off in advance for them also, so they don't have to no longer create those tickets themselves daily. You can set all this up for them. If any of them are enterprise admins or help desk admins, then you can give them rights in here also. And as you can see, you can assign it to particular technicians. It doesn't have to be assigned. You can put as much information in here as you want or as least as possible. Those work orders are stored here, so you'll see those. You'll be able to go view those at any time. I want to show the email to ticket settings. So you'll notice that we have imapgmail.com. IMAP must be set up on the account that you're wanting to have your customers or your end users send these emails to auto create the tickets. You will then create a group category and subcategory of where these tickets are going to be created. You must have the password of that account. You need to know if you're using SSL or not. And also on the IMAP account, you cannot use the TSL setting. There are two other settings on that, and you'll need to use one of those. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I do have documentation off of it. But the TSL secure setting really locks down the IMAP account, and we cannot access your Exchange server to create those tickets if you do not open that up. One thing I do like to show also is, let me find one that has an asset in it. You have remote tools in your asset side. You have inventories. I can simply, if you're putting your assets in your tickets and you need to remote into their machine, you can do it out of your ticket. So your Ultra VNC is here. Your Microsoft Remote Desktop is here. Anybody using anybody else's remote products that we have programmed in here, you can do that. You need to see the inventory of it, the system information. And yes, I'll give you a little hint. Some of you that missed the asset training, there is a collect clientless inventory in 3.8 also. So I could actually inventory this machine even if the agent's not installed on it, right out of my ticket. Some of you don't know that you can change the user. The reason why we do that is sometimes a user is locked out of their computer. Somebody else may create a ticket and say, this is for Joni. Then I need to change that to Joni. You can change the asset of the user. So in this case, I'm the actual user. These are all the machines that are assigned to me or I've associated to me. Maybe I wasn't on the ENG box. Maybe I was actually on ITIL Chris G. Now I can go to that machine. You can edit the title, the description. User notes are not editable by anyone. Once they're there, they're logged and they're hard-coded. You can add user notes though. Anytime you add user notes, these notes are emailed to the user as long as that feature is turned on by your administrator. The user can also view this out of the web portal. Technician notes are not viewable by the user, and they will also be logged here. Attachments are viewable by the user, so if you're putting documents into the ticket, that user has rights to view that document. Timesheet is just that. We're going to add timesheet. You'll notice I have technicians, so I can change it if I need to add timesheet for other technicians. This is a new feature. So if I need to change, maybe Miguel forgot to put in some time on this ticket, I can add his time for him. Some of you don't see the task type because I recommend you don't turn it on because it's one more step for you to do with this. Now I actually have to choose the task type and put in some notes to enter in my timesheet. If you'll leave this feature off, you won't have to do that. For you that have need AD help, you have a feature that you can turn on for the users. I don't know if I have it turned on, but we're going to look. And I do. This is my actual AD information as a user. I am no longer an administrator on this. If you turn this feature on, you can allow your users to update their Active Directory information, and they'll save it. Then you can turn it back off for the users later. We've had numerous counties use this to get their AD information up to date. So if you're missing out the departments or phone numbers, it's a simple way to get it in. Now, recommendations on that is if you're going to send this out and open this up for the users, then what you need to do is give them if for the finance department you use FIN as an acronym, then you need to put FIN finance. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading some of these questions out, and we're going to see what we have. Do you offer a mobile app for a Windows 8 tablet? If it's out on the Droid store, then you can download it and use it. However, we are not certified on Windows 8 currently. We are in the process of working with Microsoft right now, but until that certification comes from them, which will take anywhere from 1 to 2 months, we cannot say that we are certified on any Windows 8 boxes. We are inventorying Windows 8 boxes, and we are testing that. As far as a mobile app goes for a Windows 8, I'll just have to test it out and see, but I don't believe there should be any issue for that at this time.
We don't have a mobile app at this point of time. We can do it if there is a specific requirement.
Okay. Can we create additional technicians? To create a technician, you simply go to your management, to your highest hierarchy, which is called the provider. You will right-click, do Manage Contacts, and here's where you will add your technicians. To add that technician, you'll just do New Contact, Next, this ellipsis button, and if I was looking for myself, I would type in my username, and then I add the contact. From there, you add what team, make sure that this stuff is filled out. If they don't have an email address in here, they will not receive an email. Team templates. These are set up by your administrators where they give certain rights into the help desk and to the asset management side. You can give them script privileges, so if they're writing scripts or need to deploy to assets, they can. Report privileges, technician, help desk administrator, or enterprise administrator. Now, something I would like to say here is, if you choose help desk administrator, simply give them rights to FAQ in the message board, and you've done exactly what the technician does, and you open it up for them a little more. Can you select fields to be filled for your user information input? That would, once again, be done in the custom fields. So I don't have to use, these are going to go in every single ticket. So if you want the users to see them in every single ticket, then you would put those custom fields here. However, if it's pertinent on information on a subcategory or a category, then you would simply choose the custom fields here. when an end user submits a ticket, okay, so we're going to switch portals here. Oops. We're already in the portal. So this says, from an end user's perspective, what does it look like when they submit a ticket? They simply click on New Ticket, and this is the screen they will see. They can choose a template, which I don't assign any to myself, a group. Now you'll notice I got a lot more groups than what's showing. That's because I don't share those with the users. So there may be more than one group, but they may be private and hidden from the users. So they can type all that in. They can choose their asset, type in a title, type in a description. They have a spell check. They have their get IP address. They have all their fields in front of them, custom fields. So you'll notice that that's all located here. They also have the capture screenshot. So you as a technician can tell them, hey, you have an error on your screen. We'll take a screenshot of it. How do I do that? We'll open up a ticket. In there they have a capture screenshot. They choose that capture screenshot. They choose the application they're having a problem with, and it takes a snapshot. Notice it does have desktop, so if the error is on their desktop, they can simply choose entire desktop and put that screenshot in there. From there, the user would simply submit the ticket. And what will happen from here is it'll email that user, and it'll email any technician it's assigned to or not, or the unassigned group. And they'll have the ticket ID. From there, this is what they see. All their simple tickets are on the front screen for them. They also have access to FAQs. Contact Us tab is just all your contacts of your technicians. They can complain or make a request or a suggestion. You'll notice I have reports. That's only for super users, which I'm also one of them. How do you set up super users that can see their department's employees' tickets? Excellent question. Super users are set up like this. First off, your AD has to be set up in a particular order. So if I wanted the corporate users and Maha is our super user here, then Maha has to be in this OU, and he will only see these people's tickets or be able to create a ticket for them. You simply click on that user. There's a super user checkbox. You check it, you save it. After you do this, they then will have access to the reports, and their new tickets will look more like you as an administrator. They could come into it. I'm going to click on that. There we go. They will come in here. They won't have to choose customer. It'll already pre-select. And their usernames will only be those 6 or 7 names that are in that OU. Now, if you have users here, 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 and here, that's not going to work. They all have to be in the same OU. So notice I don't have any users in the corporate OU. All my users are here. They have to be in the same OU to be a super user to be able to do those features. And I'm just going through these questions. Will the end users be able to see the reports? No. Only super users, only administrators, only technicians that were given rights. How do you make the extended status change to closed automatically when closing a ticket? You cannot currently. But if, let's say, you were in the closed section, now this will skew your report, just to let you know, and you came in here and notice I'm in closed, I could put on a sort like this and take all these 4 tickets, change the extended status to closed to reflect that. Now, what did I just do is I updated those tickets. So those 4 tickets now will show in the reports as being updated. However, we are looking at putting a little stored procedure in there, so we will have closed as an extended status in the future, and it'll have to stay there. It'll be hard-coded. You will not be able to delete it. And then when you choose the status of closed, it will be able to do that.
If the user can see the words, it's okay.
All right. Is that all tickets or all tickets in the group to which a tech is a member? Now, teams are a little different. Teams should not be working out of all tickets, assigned, closed, new. They should just minimize it. Teams should really be working out of their team section. Now, if they're in the all tickets view, the way it is designed is, even though they're in all tickets, depending on what we've given them in rights here, do they have view all tickets? Can they view just their own tickets? Is it a parent-child ticket? That will also reflect and cause different numbers underneath the all tickets and assigned section for team using customers. All right.
There is an announcement.
Hold on, I'm going through your questions. Okay, what's the difference between submitting an FAQ and approving an FAQ? Okay. FAQs that are not approved are not seen by users, even if it's checked for enable for users. This means a technician submitted it. So what that means is an enterprise admin or one of your administrators must approve this FAQ for it to actually go live. So that means technicians cannot view the not approved ones. So you used to use this as your private. You don't no longer need to do that because we have the enable for users checkbox. But what ends up happening is technicians don't have rights to approve FAQs, so an enterprise admin has to do that for them. Can you have users auto-updated from AD? Yes, you can. You can have multiple AD syncs going on if you want. You just come in here, choose AD sync, choose the date and time you want it to go off, and finish. This will auto sync daily, every week, whatever you want to do. Now, if you have a user, and I just had one of these today, where the name changes. So we have a lady get married. Her last name is now changed, or her username and her email address. If you change her in AD, then you need to have a process to make that change in Support Central also. You don't need to let the AD sync take place because then you will have 2 users. It does not know the difference in last names. It'll think it's a new user. So you simply go to that user, double-click on the user's name, and make those changes here, just like you did in Active Directory, save it, and then they're updated. Somebody had put in that it's not compatible with Google Chrome. They're actually testing that out. Now, with 3.8, they made some fixes for Firefox, of course, IE, and what was the other one? Safari, yeah, on Safari. So Google Chrome will be one of the next ones. Yeah, I'll let Ganesh and them know to make sure they get on Google Chrome, that you guys are using it. Is there a way to create a top 10 list for work orders for a technician and allow users to see it? A top 10 list for work orders.
Send an email to support.
On that question, send me an email. I'm not sure exactly what you're wanting. There is a report that shows the top 10 techs that close tickets, and it shows those techs. If you want to maybe show it user, hey, this is how many tickets you guys submit or something. Now, yes, you can come in here if O.A. Blinken came to your desk and said, I don't do that much or something like that. Well, then you could right-click, do View Tickets, and then you could show them just how many tickets they have and how many times you helped them. If that doesn't answer your question, like I said, send me an email. How can you check the log to see if the AD sync is working? Well, you just simply should be able to come in here, be on all systems, and you'll notice it logs the AD sync as long as you name the task. Another question. Has there been any progress made on WinVNC for Windows 7 IE Control-Alt-Delete? Okay. Currently, we deploy out the 1.9.5 version. You guys can change that version at any time, any of you. All you need to do, and you would need to do this on every technician's desktop and on the server. But if you go out to UltraVNC's website and you download all the install files, you can simply go here and drop them in here. Then you can deploy out the latest version. The reason why we haven't put their latest version is sometimes it's not as good as the previous version and we run into more problems. However, I believe we will be making an update soon with it possibly may even get thrown into 3.8 or the next version after that where we go to the latest version of UltraVNC. Okay. So that should address some issues. Also, if you'll go to UltraVNC's website, you can view their bugs, and they have a couple fixes out there or workarounds for you. So that will also help. But just getting the latest version will probably clear that up. But that's up to you whether or not you want to put that in there. And this is the location you would put that. And a lot of you don't understand. What happens is when you deploy this, if you're not part of the administrators or domain admins group, then you may not be able to UltraVNC to an end user's machine. So we need to get the group that your technicians are a part of put in here, and then we need to put that INI file in all of your technicians' locations, just like this, so they push out the correct INI file. And there's an announcement here that they want me to let everyone know that we are going to have a training here in Atlanta on reporting and database on May 9th and May 10th. Surrey will be leading that up. And if you really want to get in depth on how to write reports or the structure of the database, you may want to attend this meeting here. We will be sending more information on this in the next couple of days, and it'll be on SQL database, dashboard reports, application integration, and the mobile apps. So just mark that down and look for an email coming from Susan Cobb, and that ought to answer your questions. And let's see what else. Got some more questions here, and I'll answer them until they stop. So if this doesn't end at 3, no problem by me. Can we create users in Support Central that are not in AD? Good question. Yes, you can. First thing you're going to want to do is select the OU you're going to put them in. So just like in AD, you would put them here. Now they're not going to be in Active Directory, so they're not here. So what we would do is right-click over here in the white space, choose User, choose New User. You can also add an Active Directory user this way. So if you just put a person in AD, you simply go to them, find the user, and add them in. And that's how you can add a user without having to wait on AD to sync up. But for a non-AD user, first thing we must do is uncheck integrated Windows authentication. You'll notice that'll gray out the domain. They're not part of your domain. Then you need to give them a user because they become a SQL user. The next thing you'll want to do is give them at least 8-character password with 1 capital and 1 number. This is a SQL requirement. If you don't do it, it'll create the user. However, they'll never be able to log into the web portal. So we want to give them a long password. You'll also want to fill out all this information, especially any email information, because how are we going to email the user if we can't do that? You can choose the manager of that person here. If you uncheck user rights here for Helpdesk, they cannot no longer access the Helpdesk. That means they can't get to the web portal. So leave that there. And if you want to CC anybody on them, you can do that also. Why do users' icons rearrange when we remote into their system? Well, if you're using Ultra VNC, it could possibly be the display setting they have or the display setting you have, or it may be the setting in Ultra VNC that you are using. Once again, you can check your INI files here, and they do have settings for that. If it's another system, I don't know that answer. Ultra VNC would be probably because of the display settings, or maybe you're not showing both screens, or maybe they're doing large font or something like that. Don't see any other questions then. I'm going to give you another minute or two to make sure. In the meantime, just to let you know, once again, if you're going to need support, you don't need to email Surrey or any of your sales people. Just email support@boss-solutions.com. You, of course, can email me and Miguel, but if one of us are out, like I am out a lot because I do a lot of our trainings and stuff, then I'm not going to get it, or I may not be able to reply back right away. So that's why we recommend that you email support@boss-solutions.com. If you are going to email me or Miguel individually, then copy in the support group. That way, if they're not available, they can help you. When can we get upgraded to version 3.8? Good question. Give me about another week. And some of it is in some places right now. Some people are using it. Larger customers that have some specialty things, you'll be one of the later ones to get it, just to make sure there's no issues. But I would say probably next week or the week after is going to be when we'll roll it out pretty much to everybody. And you'll just need to schedule a time with us, and we'll walk you through it. There's too many configuration changes in the web config file for me to do a video on this and to make sure you don't have any mess ups or we're missing something. So we will walk you through the upgrade. How can you create a ticket for the end user you manually created? Once you create them in the system, they will be here. That's what this SQL boss is, SQL debugger. So stuff like that, that's how you create those users. They'll show there. But it'll depend on if you put them underneath the customer. So if you have multiple customers like I do, you need to make sure you put them in the correct customer. And then also in the ticket, you need to be on that customer. Do subcategories have to be mandatory? Yes, BOSS requires them. So if you have a category with no subcategories, then you cannot create a ticket or anything or do anything with that. So you have to have a subcategory underneath your categories. I'm just taking a look here. It looks like that may be about it on the questions. I don't see any others coming in. Now, if I didn't answer your question, once again, please just email me directly. I will answer it one-on-one. So you can email support too, but I'll be the one answering it since I did the demo or the video today. So don't worry about that on these questions today. Anything else you guys want to email support, you can call support and one of the support team members will get back to you. And like I said, on 3.8, we'll have that release coming very soon. So look for an email. If you're not getting emails, that means it is going to your spam folder. We send them to every single customer. So you need to get with Susan on that. Send her an email. Say, I'm not getting those. She'll send you an email back. You can verify that it's not going to spam. But she is copying everyone in on this. So if you're not getting that updates or you're not getting our monthly newsletter, then it's probably taking it to spam or has blocked her. And on that note, I appreciate everyone showing up today, and that will conclude today's online training. Have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon.